So in part one, we talked about what you should be looking for around the outside of a house when you are viewing. Today we are going to talk about what you should be looking for inside the house when you're walking around doing home property viewings or going through an inspection. And we're going to talk about that coming right up. Welcome everyone, Mitchell Goulding here with Exit Realty, Lift Block Brokerage in the fantastic city of Peterborough, and this is your Peterborough Realtor. So today we are talking about what to look for when you are previewing homes for purchase or going through home inspections. Part one of the video pertained to the outside, more specifically the foundation and the grading around the home. So today we're going to talk about what you should look for when you are touring the inside of a property. Some warning signs that you should be looking out for and what different conditions might look like. If you got some good information and some good value from part one of this series or any other video that I have brought you so far, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. Hit the bell notification as well so that you're notified when I go live with new content each week. Now, like in part one of the video, I am going to put a link in the description below to a home inspection checklist. It's just something that you can download for free and you can take with you when you are viewing homes or going on a home inspection so that you can stay on the same page as the home inspector. It can also be handy just to take with you when you are viewing properties, just so that you can go over some things and you can kind of remember what you should be on the lookout for when you are viewing potential homes to buy. So in part one, we mostly concentrated on looking at the foundation and the grading around a home. So we will start on the other side of that wall this time. So let's start in the basement when you are inside. When you go down to the basement, if there is drywall, obviously you're not going to be able to see the foundation walls in a bare condition, but there will be signs that you can look out for that would indicate that there is water or moisture damage or any kind of shifting. Obviously, if you're seeing wall cracks or any obvious damage in that regard, then that is going to point to an issue. But we're also going to focus on the moisture. So you want to be looking at the walls, obviously, along the bottom portion. So usually down towards the ground, kind of where the floor and the wall meet up. If there is any water getting in, if there's moisture getting in, it's going to run down the face of the foundation wall and it is going to pool and it is going to be most noticeable down towards the floor. So if you notice drywall that looks like it is wet now, if it's damp, if it looks like it has been wet in the past and then dried and you're seeing watermarks, or obviously if you're seeing it very wet and you're seeing indication of mold or black mold, that is something that is definitely going to warrant some further investigation. You would have to obviously hire a professional to come in to analyze exactly what is going on, but definitely be on the lookout for moisture on the bottom portion of the wall, kind of where the floor and the wall meet up. Now, if the basement walls do not have any drywall on them, obviously that is going to make it a lot easier to notice that water and moisture damage. So obviously if you do see any water there now or any moisture on the ground or on the wall, obviously that means the water is getting in. But the other sign that some people don't quite know what it is, or they may have heard the term but don't quite know what to look for, is efflorescence. So what this is that's going to be the white, salty residue that you see on some basement walls, particularly in older homes. And while it may not indicate that there's a large issue, it does mean that there is moisture getting through the foundation walls and causing a reaction. Whereas the salts and the minerals in the water getting through, when it oxidizes, it creates that film, that white crystally salty film on the wall. So if you're looking at the basement walls and you notice that white film, that's indicating moisture getting in, and again, it should be looked at by a professional so that they can determine what the cause is and the extent of the damage. Alright, so heading upstairs now and really on the main floor, and if it's a two-story, any subsequent floors, just be mindful of the floors that you are walking on. So when you're walking around, be mindful of any springiness. Take note of any areas where it feels like the floor may be uneven, where there may be some dips or some humps that are unexplained or seem strange. Springy floors and those dips and humps can indicate maybe just an issue with subflooring, so it may not be a major issue, but it may be something that needs to be replaced. or it can be indicative of a problem with floor joists. And obviously, if you're getting into floor joists, that's more of a structural issue, and that can be a much larger repair. So if you notice the springing, if you notice the uneven floors, you're definitely going to want to make a note of that, because when you do have a home inspection or when you're walking through with the home inspector, they're going to notice it, but you want to point it out as well, as that could be a major issue. So the next tip we're going to go over is something I find that a lot of people don't know to look for, and they overlook this and they don't think to be on the lookout for it. So what that is going to be to look at the windows and the doors within the home. Now, yes, a lot of people know, they check the condition of doors and the condition of windows to make sure they're not in disrepair. Especially windows, obviously, they can be very expensive to replace. So you want to make sure that they're newer, that they're working the way they should and keeping the home efficient with regards to heating and cooling, as well as the seals, to make sure that they were installed properly and that they are not letting any air in or out. But most people don't know to actually try and open windows and doors when you are viewing a home or during the home inspection. So what this does, or what this achieves, is that you are testing to make sure that the home hasn't had any kind of shifting, that there's nothing wrong with the foundation or structurally. So if there's been any significant shifting within the home, typically where it occurs, it will throw any doors or windows above it out of square. So if you try and open a window, if it's vertical or horizontal, and you are trying to move it and it moves freely, then that's great. But if you try and move it and there's some force back, it's hard to open, or it won't open all the way and it gets stuck, it can indicate that there has been some shifting and that there may be a more serious structural issue. So something that you would have a professional inspect, obviously, to find out the cause. Maybe it was just installed incorrectly, but it could be something more significant, and it could indicate a more significant issue. Same thing with doors. Open doors, if they open and close nice and easily, obviously that's great. If there's some squeak or some kind of some force back with hinges, then obviously that's a smaller issue. But if it's getting stuck on the ceiling anywhere, or if it's bumping up against the floor or the trim or the door jamb, then that again could indicate something more serious structurally, and again should be looked at. Now, neither this list of tips or the first part of this series, was by any means an extensive or exhaustive list of what to look for. Obviously, there's a lot of elements within a home that should be considered and should be looked at before you make a purchase, and to make sure that the home that you are buying is structurally sound and is going to be safe for you and your family. So if there's any issues, or if there's any thought that there may be an issue, or you have any concerns, please do enlist the services of a licensed professional to help you look at that. Unless, of course, you're qualified, but having somebody that knows what they're looking for and can determine what the underlying causes are is the most important thing. So again, please, if there's any issues or you think there may be issues, please enlist the services of a licensed professional. Well, that is it for this week, everyone. I hope you got some valuable information from this video or from part 1 in this series. Next week, I'm going to be talking about the Peterborough market that was in August. It was busy, it was crazy. We're going to go over some numbers and do some quick analysis so we can kind of try and sift through the data and kind of get a handle on what's going on with the Peterborough and area real estate market. The week after that, I'm going to be doing a special on how to be a buyer in this kind of market, because it's definitely a seller's market with the amount of inventory, and a lot of homes are going into multiple offer scenarios, and buyers are getting into competitive situations. So knowing what to expect, how to prepare for that kind of situation can be a big help for people that are they're not familiar with it, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks, so that you may have a little bit more information and a little bit more comfort going into a situation if you find yourself in one. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. If you've gotten any value from this channel, or feel you may get value in future videos, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. Hit the bell notification as well, so that you get notified when I go live with new content each week. And I will see everybody next time.